Yo, what's up? It's producer Ben Ford, and today we're talking about plugins. My 5 rules to saving you some money. Let's get to it. Wait, no, let's plug in. First things, like, subscribe, share. You got it. You know what to do. So, rule number 1, know what you can do with the included plugins in your DAW. Again, seriously, know what's going on with your DAW. Know how to use the plugins that are included. There's no point in buying all these other plugins if you don't know what you've already bought with the software that you're using. I mean, it's very clear. VSTs and EQs, compressors, and all the other stuff, it's already included. Know how to use that first. That'll save you some cash in the long run. You can do a lot with just that, I promise you. All right, rule number two. Make sure these plugins that you're about to buy work in your DAW. Like, I will not tell you how many times I've gotten plugins that, you know, they worked in one DAW, but don't work in a different DAW, don't work on this platform, do work on that platform, don't work on this video editor, do work on this video editor. Yeah, that's a thing, right? So make sure that what you're getting actually is compatible with the programs, the software, the computer that you're using. And you know what the best way to do that is? Rule number 3, try before you buy. Every single one of these plugin companies has a demo that you can use. And normally they're 30 days, sometimes they're like 5 days or 7 days, but they have them. So why not put that to use and actually do it? Now, I will tell you, sometimes if you're doing mixing, like some of the stuff that I do and some of the stuff that my friends do, we'll get sessions from random people and they have all these like wild plugins that I've never heard of. And I got to go download all these plugins, get all these demos. And then I have to decide, well, if they don't like this mix after this demo is closed, am I going to buy this again or am I change? Stop. There are solutions. You can do it and you can work around. Anyway, so what we say, try before you buy. Rule number 4, if you can, vet these companies. Right now, a lot of people are being advertised to on Instagram, TikTok, IG, Twitter, online with all of these plugin companies that are just brand new. Well, you know what happens? Sometimes if they're not making enough money, they just disappear. They don't even support the stuff anymore. I got a VST that I love, that luckily I was able to pull the samples out of the software so I can continue using the sounds, but it was a great VST and they just quit. They just stopped. It was just, I looked for it. I went online. I looked at their Twitter. They haven't tweeted in months, years. They're just done. So you gotta, or what is it, X now? Anyway, you gotta vet these companies and you gotta know that what you're buying is reputable, or you gotta choose to print, right? And that's something a lot of people don't do. If you're making beats, I guess it can work if you print the 2-track and all the stems. But if you're mixing, once that mix is done, you put that in the file, you send it to your folks, but like you can't open it again if that company's gone and you updated to Sonoma and nothing works, right? We already talked about compatibility. Well, if they're not supporting it anymore, that AAX or that whatever VST3, it's not going to show up and there's nobody to talk to. You don't have the source code. So make sure that you are, you want to be experimental, but you also want to make sure that you put some rigor into understanding and knowing what companies you're using and their VSTs. So that brings us to rule number 5. If you can, I know it's hard because it's cheap, get perpetual licenses. Just do it. It's yours. They can't stop you from using it. If you open the session 10 years from now and you're not still paying, it'll still open, right? Like 10 years is a long time, but you know what I mean? Like if you stop paying for subscriptions, it just doesn't work anymore. I've had beats where I was using some sounds that I had on a subscription because I got locked in for 12 months. That was the other thing. Like I got locked in and they wouldn't let me cancel, which is wild. Hate that. But anyway, I got locked in. I got sounds that I just can't even use. And the beats were dope and I can't do anything with it. And I'm not going to go give them more money and I'm not going to buy their sounds because like not only do they have a subscription, but then they highly inflate the cost of their plugins. So they push you to the subscription, which is, it's messed up in the first place. So try to buy perpetual licenses. Subscriptions, Man, subscription life is wild. I just want to own shit. Excuse my language. Sorry. All right. Bonus rule. It is that time of year. Right now, you see the date. Black Friday is coming up all the way through January 1st. These companies make people that spent the real money feel terrible this whole time because they give you 40, 50, 70% off on these plugins. You need to time your purchases. Just time them. Like, do you need it right now? If you don't, wait for Black Friday to January 1st or wait for what they call Christmas in July, right? July, I think a lot of the companies do 20, 30% off, and you can get these plugins for dirt cheap. And a lot of these companies have year-round stuff going too, like you buy this, buy that, you get the third one free, but then they have a perpetual, they call it perpetual, but then you still got to do an update and charge you a lot of money for the update, even though they do the work anyway to keep their plugins going. Stop. Those are my 5 rules. Want to recap? Let's see if I remember. 1, know the plugins in your DAW. 2, make sure they work with your DAWs and your editing software. There's lots of other softwares that these plugins work in. Make sure they work in them before you commit to them. And how do you do that? You demo them and use a demo, try it in everything. Make sure you can use it in every software that you're using. Because I know, like me, I have like 10 softwares that I use plugins for audio in. Then once you get done with that, make sure you know the company you're buying it from. Make sure that company is real. Make sure that company has like a real setup of leadership. Is there a CEO? Is there staff? Like, do you think they're gonna keep going? And then what was it? So that was that. And then 5, try to buy perpetual licenses. 6, time your purchases because you can save a lot of money. So I'm producer Ben Ford. Those are my 5 rules and the bonus. Peace.